Right now on Fox 43 Featured, robbery reflection. Family members of loved ones whose remains were stolen from a Delaware County cemetery are speaking out, what they have to say and where the case stands. And the Pennsylvania Game Commission is proposing changes to next year's hunting season. What will be discussed at the agency's next meeting. And the FDA recently announced changes to the food pyramid, with dairy prominently featured at the top. What local dairy farmers have to say about the change. Thanks for joining us for Fox 43 Featured. I'm Sedona Meadows. Families with loved ones in a Delaware County cemetery are speaking out after more than 100 skeletons were stolen from the cemetery and then found in a Lancaster County man's home last week. Fox 43's Matt Kleinitz spoke with those family members and has the latest from the case.
People across Pennsylvania continue to be shocked after police pulled hundreds of skeletons from a Lancaster County home.
I've never heard of anything like this before. I don't think many people have.
34-year-old Jonathan Gerlach continues to sit in a Delaware County jail after he was arrested for vandalizing dozens of graves at the Mount Moriah Cemetery. Tony Schmidt says she was upset when she heard about the robbery, adding that her mother volunteered at the cemetery for years.
She would go to Mount Moriah and help clean up and visit the grave of her great-grandfather, who was the lieutenant commander at Little Round Top in Gettysburg.
It's angering, but it's also heartbreaking.
Christine Mello says she drove to Mount Moriah to check on her grandparents' graves shortly after hearing about Gerlach's arrest.
I pulled up and there was an elderly man there who was looking for his dad. Where's my dad at? Is my dad's bones taken? Where are they? And I was calming down this man, being like, is he a mausoleum? Like, what do we know?
According to court documents, Gerlach is accused of robbing grave sites in Delaware and Luzerne counties. Social media accounts belonging to Gerlach also showed human skulls on display. In a Facebook Live, Jeremy Pauley, who pled guilty to trafficking human remains last year, claimed that Gerlach bought some of his collection off his ex-wife.
I had tried to reach out to him at one point about like, hey, what you bought, what you brokered wasn't hers to sell. And he kind of like told me to,
Volunteers with the Mount Moriah Cemetery say they are looking for donations to improve security, while families call on local governments to protect the grounds.
What is the point of taxes in government if we're not taking care of our lands and spaces?
Matt Kleinitz, Fox 43 News.
In other news, Governor Josh Shapiro met with Harrisburg leaders this week amid ongoing legal issues in the city. The meeting reportedly included Harrisburg Mayor Wanda Williams, City Council President Danielle Hill, Harrisburg Police, as well as Pennsylvania State Police. The governor's office says the meeting on Wednesday was aimed at discussing the city's future and making it clear that Harrisburg leaders must work together. This comes after City Council voted last month to eliminate 4 positions in the city's administration, with Mayor Williams threatening to sue over the move. All parties at this week's meeting agreed to hold regular weekly meetings to track progress as new plans are enacted. Well, the Pennsylvania Game Commission is considering changes to hunting seasons during its first meeting of the year. The PGC will consider several proposals at its 2-day meeting on January 23rd and January 24th. One proposal would open firearms during deer season the Saturday before Thanksgiving. Now, the current season structure has the deer season open the Saturday after the holiday. To accommodate a potential earlier start date for the firearms season, the proposal would move the firearms bear season 1 week earlier and shorten the early bear muzzleloader archery and special firearms season to a single weekend. Another proposal would allow Sunday hunting during the 2027 spring gobbler season. We have more information on the proposals and meeting times right now on fox43.com. Well, downtown York looks a little different after city employees removed concrete barriers along North George Street. City of York officials posted about the change on social media, showing the barriers being taken down this week. The city says it will improve visibility and traffic flow on one of York's busiest streets. Now, the barriers were placed last May following the decision not to close the street for outdoor dining, something that had become a tradition during COVID. The city says it's working with economic and restaurant leaders to develop an outdoor dining plan for May through October. More information is expected in the spring. Well, dairy producers play a big role at the Pennsylvania Farm Show, and new dietary guidelines from the USDA could mean they could play a bigger role in what we eat. Fox 43's James Corrigan has reaction from dairy farmers to the brand new food pyramid from Health Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. and what it could mean for their industry.
Dairy cows have plenty to be excited about at the Pennsylvania Farm Show. And this year, their owners have even more reason to smile after Health Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. unveiled the government's new food pyramid, giving a significant boost to recommended amounts of dairy in the diet.
We were ecstatic. We love dairy. We consume a lot of dairy within our household.
Jared Kurtz has lived dairy through owning Kirkland Farms in Berks County and bringing his cows to the farm show this week. He says he and Pennsylvania's nearly $12 billion dairy industry stands to benefit from the revised recommendations, which emphasize full-fat dairy products like whole milk and butter while cutting recommended servings of grains in half.
It puts a spotlight on the products that we produce, that there's a lot of nutritional value to it. And our hope and our goal is that over time, these whole products such as whole milk, butter, cheese, that are rich in protein will really continue to grow as staple products within the food industry.
Now, as excited as these dairy cows and their owners are about the new food pyramid, it does not come without its detractors worried about the new amounts of fat and cholesterol in the diet. In a statement, the American Heart Association praised many of the new guidelines, but did express concern about the consumption of saturated fats in red meat. It continues to recommend low-fat and fat-free milk for heart health, despite the whole-fat guidelines. Pennsylvania dairy leaders, however, are pushing back on the notion that fats in dairy are unhealthy.
The fat in dairy products has been demonized over about 20 years ago. There was a trend to push it backwards. Well, the most recent information that we've had is that our bodies do need, there's different types of fats, and our bodies do need the fat that is in dairy products. It is positive for the industry, but I think more importantly, it's going to be more important to our consumers and the children so that they have the right kind of nutrition in their diets.
And no matter the opinions of the new food pyramid, the biggest winner is the nearly 5,000 family-owned dairy farms here in Pennsylvania, which means that cows like Fluff will have an even bigger role in feeding the nation. James Corrigan, Fox 43 News.
Well, farming has long been known as demanding work, both physically and mentally. At the PA Farm Show, lawmakers, farmers, and health officials came together to address the often hidden challenges facing farmers across the Commonwealth. Officials say agriculture is one of the most demanding and isolating professions. Financial strain, unpredictable markets, and the expectation to handle it all on your own can lead to anxiety, depression, and burnout.
Supporting farmer mental health is not separate from supporting agriculture. It's an essential part of sustaining our farms, our rural communities, and our food systems.
The Department of Health's Agri-Stress Helpline, created in 2022, has received more than 100 farmers looking for mental health support. Now, the goal is to create additional resources like agri-stress, legislation, and partnerships to help those who tend to the land. Also at the farm show this week, the annual Sheep to Shawl contest returned. 10 teams competed to shear the sheep and then use the fleece to create a completed shawl within a 2.5-hour time window. Now, the event exemplifies the process of making quality fabric and highlights wool characteristics. Now, contest officials say the event is unique because attendees see all the steps taken from beginning to end.
I think the appeal is that they get to see the entire process from start to finish. Oftentimes we get to see one small element of a competition, where here you get to see the entire thing. You look at the inside of this arena and it's filled with people to the max. We appreciate the support and continue supporting the wool industry.
Now, the winning team this year was Friends Through Fiber, and their shawl sold for $3,600. We're less than 5 months out from the first World Cup soccer matches. A sneak peek at preparations in Philly for the worldwide soccer tournament. The FIFA World Cup kicks off in less than 150 days, and right here in our state, Philadelphia is one of the 16 host cities in North America. Fox's Chris O'Connell is in the city of brotherly love with a look at preparations being made for the tournament.
It is really starting to become a very real experience.
The path to the FIFA World Cup is literally being paved in Fairmount Park. New sidewalks, crosswalks, surveillance cameras, and landscaping being put in place near Lemon Hill, what will be the epicenter of the 39-day World Cup Fan Fest party in Philadelphia.
It's a bit surreal, to be honest, that FIFA World Cup is finally here. This is an event that the city has been working on since 2017.
Meg Kane has the monumental task of organizing Philadelphia's role in the World Cup. Now just a few months out, safety, security, and logistics for teams and fans have become top priorities.
Those are the two key areas. If people feel safe and they are able to continue moving, that is what allows them to open themselves up for the joy and the magic of these major events.
Philly got a little taste last summer when the Club World Cup came to town. Rabid soccer fans have already started making hotel reservations and booking flights to Philly. If not for the 6 matches on tap at the Link, but for the big private events and watch parties being planned for the 500,000 visitors expected.
We are really in the part of finalizing the last aspects of planning, and then we will shift into execution mode.
Tom Kramer lives around the corner from Lemon Hill. Safety is his biggest concern with crowds.
Hopefully fun and hopefully safe. I mean, that's the other thing, right? Lemon Hill's had its share of unofficial parties that go on that sometimes turn wrong. So
thousands of volunteers are now being trained at FIFA's Volunteer Center, and organizers are now waiting to hear which team will make Subaru Park their home camp, with the Hotel DuPont in Wilmington as the host hotel. They say soccer fans or not, prepare for nothing like we've ever seen.
I still think that this is going to be a bit of an eye-opener for our residents and for our region. This is the world's biggest sporting event.
Chris O'Connell, Fox News.
And as Chris mentioned, 6 matches will be played in Philadelphia this year. On your screen is the first 4 of those matches starting on June 14th with the Ivory Coast taking on Ecuador. And as a reminder, the World Cup will be broadcasted right here on Fox 43. The tournament kicks off on June 11th with Mexico taking on South Africa. We are well into the winter season, and it's typically when people like to stay inside. But some animals, on the other hand, love to be out and about in the colder months. Zoo America is welcoming visitors to their Discovery Weekends in January. Guests can learn all about the animals in the wildlife park while also taking part in enrichment activities. Zoo educators say this is one of the best times to visit with the animals.
It's really, really nice to come in the wintertime. A lot of the animals are a little bit more active in the cooler weather than they are in the 90-degree summer heat. So we have our wolves, our mountain lions, our otters. They're ones that are typically big fan favorites that are very active during the cool months.
Visitors even have the opportunity to sign up to feed some of the animals. Zoo America is open every day from 10 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. We have all the details on our website, fox43.com. In Lebanon County, the 2026 Lebanon Valley Java Journey is officially underway. This 10-week self-guided tour takes you to several coffee shops in the county. Visitors will be able to get a passport and mug for $10 from any of the 14 participating shops. From cafes to bookstores, you never know what you'll find on your journey. And coffee shop owners say this is a great exposure for the local businesses.
It's just nice to be invited into the fold a little bit, learn a little bit from other shops that have been around, try some of their drinks too, and it's just nice to be able to get people to explore, maybe even outside of their comfort zone. They might go to the place down the block, but now they know about the place a couple streets over or a town over.
Now you'll have until March 28th to complete the journey. Once you've got your passport all filled out, return it to one of the participating shops and you'll be entered to win some prizes. All those details can be found on our website, fox43.com. An AI-powered health app dubbed the Death Clock is gaining a lot of attention online. What the app does and why it's creating such a stir. An AI-powered app is getting a lot of attention for taking a blunt, data-driven look at health and longevity. It's called the Death Clock, and it's designed to show how lifestyle choices today could affect how long you live. Fox 43's Amy Lutz talked with the app creator to find out how it works.
Do you want to know when and how you'll die? Despite its ominous name, the Death Clock app isn't about fear, it's about information.
Our healthcare system is really good when you are sick, when you break a bone, at helping you reactively. It's terrible at helping you prevent getting the disease in the first place.
Developer Brent Franson says that's where the Death Clock app comes in. It uses artificial intelligence trained on more than 1,200 longevity studies to analyze a person's health and lifestyle. Users start by answering questions about diet, exercise, sleep, stress, and medical history. Then they can also upload blood work, giving them an even more detailed picture of their health risks.
So the first way you want to think about it as an AI private doctor. You get all of your health data in one place.
Franson says the app then estimates a current life expectancy and shows how much longer someone could live by making specific changes, with the average being 12 years. While he acknowledges the app isn't for everyone, he says users who try it often find it motivating.
It's a pretty nice introspection on how you're managing your health and what your risks are. But we lighten it up. Nobody regrets going through it, but some people are scared to start in the first place.
Franson says anyone using AI health tools like the Death Clock should always check with a doctor before making any major changes. Many experts say AI is the future of healthcare, helping people become better informed patients, not replacing doctors. With your Health Smart report, Amy Lutz, Fox 43 News.
The FDA has announced certain cheese products have been upgraded to the highest danger level after testing positive for listeria. The recall includes 8 products from the company Ambriola, which were distributed nationwide between November 3rd and 20th. Now, the affected products, which you can see on your screen, include the Locatelli graded Pecorino Romano 4 and 8 ounce plastic cups and the 5 and 10 pound plastic bags. Now, the upgraded Class 1 recall means use of the product may have serious health effects or even death. Customers are urged to throw out the products or return them for a refund. Some Dauphin County students are getting a hands-on experience at the farm show. How they are learning from cows after the break. Well, what's better than a day at school? Well, try meeting your class cow in real life. Fox 43's Natalie Coranda shows us how some Pennsylvania students got to meet the calves that they've been learning about for months for the very first time.
What started as photos and virtual updates turned into a surprise real-life moment as students finally met the calves they adopted through the Adopt a Cow program.
I was excited at first that we're actually going to see them up close and personal. We were so excited. We were so excited to be here.
These 2 4th graders from St. Joan of Arc Catholic School have been learning about these calves for months.
So at the beginning of the year, we started to learn about cows and started to learn about how they process milk and stuff.
And today, the calves named Fluff, Fudge, and Sprinkles are finally making their first big public appearance.
They were all born around the first week of September, so they're all about 4 months old now.
The calves were raised at Kirtland Farm in Berks County, a family-run operation participating in the program for a 2nd year.
Getting to interact with them, getting to meet them. A lot of people recognize me as well because they're all like, oh, Farmer Paige. So it's fun.
The Adopt a Cow program is a free educational initiative through Discover Dairy, designed to connect students with farmers and show where their food comes from.
The excitement never ends. There was a little girl sitting here for probably 20 minutes just admiring the cow. She couldn't even touch it because it was too far away, but she was just admiring it. If I can inspire them to just love it a little bit, and really the purpose is I want them to trust dairy. I want them to know it's good for you. We want to create future dairy consumers, and you do that by creating your own dairy story. So if this is their dairy story, I'm happy to be here and do it.
Sometimes the best learning happens outside the classroom.
Yay, go animals!
Natalie Coranda, Fox 43 News.
Well, a farm show favorite returned this week as the best heads of hair showed out for the 3rd annual mullet contest. That's right. business in the front and party in the back. Hundreds of people entered their locks into different age groups, as well as a special throwback class. Special awards were handed out for the most patriotic hairdo for America 250, and of course for Best in Grow. One of the participants talked about what makes the show special for him.
The attitude, I guess. You're only wearing a mullet because you don't care what anybody else thinks. My favorite thing is coming and seeing all the little kids that have them, because I first had one when I was a little kid, and then I joined the military and couldn't have one, and then I had to grow one back. So just seeing little kids that have one is the best part about it for me.
The age groups included 3 for kids, including 1 just for the young mullet growers 5 and under. That's going to do it for Fox 43 Featured. Thanks for spending part of your day with us. Have a good one.